There has been renewed controversy about excess deaths on the back of the ONS announcing a new method to calculate excess deaths, which does seem to reduce the excess quite a lot. This has got all the usual suspects riled up and crying foul because, of course, we're trying to promote a narrative of covering up the vaccine genocide. So what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to look at any of that. I'm not going to look at anything to do with projections. I'm just going to look at the actual numbers involved, and then people can make up their own minds if the numbers look bad or they look not so bad, or for that matter if they look good. So, total actual real deaths, England and Wales, 2010 to 2023. That is the period before the COVID shenanigans, so what I'm going to do is remove everything 2020 onwards like that and take a look at how things would probably have been on the basis of that preceding period. In other words, work out the average per year increase based on the actual numbers, stopping at 2019 first and then doing a couple of other scenarios, and then extrapolate that to 2023. Then we will have a plausible 2023 total deaths hypothesis with no COVID, assuming everything had ticked along just like before, to compare the actual number with. And you'll see the results on the right. So starting with 2010 to 2019, the average per year increase works out at a tad over 4,000, then times that by 4 because we've got 4 years to fill, and adding that to the 2019 530,000 total, you get 547,552. And that is a difference compared to the actual 2023 number of 581,000 of just a bit under 34,000. In other words, the true 2023 total, the deaths total, is around 34,000, greater than the number you get extrapolating 2023 based on that non-COVID period. However, that period you saw there is a little bit of a problem. 2010 is quite high and 2019 is quite low. That has the effect of squeezing the average. It pulls the bottom up, it pushes the top down, and that creates a fairly low projection for 2023 to compare the actual true number with, so it makes the true number seem an awful lot bigger in comparison. And that might be a little bit extreme, so it'd be helpful to look at a couple of other scenarios. So what I'll do now is remove 2019 and look at 2010 to 2018. That creates a bigger per year average, and the exact same process leads to that number, 571,000 and a bit. Let's put that one in pride of place, 571,805, and that is a difference compared to the actual 2023 number of 581,000 of just a bit under 10,000. So now the actual 2023 total is now only about 10,000 bigger than the total extrapolating 2023 based on 2010 to 2018. And that number is quite high, 571,000 projection, 581,000 total. So a small discrepancy, and that is actually what the ONS new method approximately yields. However, that projection is now a little on the high side. So now, rather than removing 2019, I'll leave it there and remove 2010, so now we have 2011 to 2019. And the same process, working out the average and adding as necessary, leads to that number, 554,078. I'll put that on the top, and that is a difference compared to 2023 actual number of 581,000 of 27,000. So that is 3 non-COVID scenarios for 2023, which actual 2023 is greater than, to the tune of 34,000 worst case scenario, 9,000 best case scenario, and 27,000 closer to the worst case scenario. And all that averages out at 23,000. In other words, deleting everything post 2019 and projecting how things would have looked in 23 but without COVID in that intervening period, you get a 2023 number which is 23,000 or so lower, which is a little under 4% lower. And I'll just summarise all that visually: actual number, projections based on previous periods, average of projections, and compare that with the actual number that happened. And considering that in 2020 the NHS stopped working and started dancing, we've all seen the videos, hospital capacity reduced from 90% to around 60% in that year, and considering that GPs are now only working about 2 days a week, and when they are working you can't get an appointment with them because they've made it harder, all of which I suspect is due to the simple reality that they've worked out that the moment somebody says, oh well, this is not too good, is it? Another 10 people come out the woodwork and solemnly intone, our doctors and nurses are the best in the world, how dare you? And the opposition is immediately silenced. But considering all of that, all the astonishing delays that have now been created in the healthcare system, a reduction of approximately 4% to the actual 2023 total, assuming that none of that had actually happened, none of the COVID period had actually happened, is not at all bad, it has to be said. This will not, I know, make the Bill Gates vaccine genocide contingent particularly happy, but I can't help that. Looked at in the round, it's not bad.